And the livestock conference, the Texas A&M Aggies still own the lead. The Cougars still sit atop the CAC conference, while the Tigers, Cougars, and Bearcats sit one game behind. Probably the most competitive of the special conferences, the Birds Conference has three leaders in the Owls, the Screaming Eagles, and the Cardinals, while the Iowa Hawkeyes, Southern Miss Eagles, and Kennesaw State Owls are one game behind. The Cougars have really found a rhythm on top and are enjoying being ahead of the little bit nasty conference. As for the Cowboys and the Indians are 13 games above 500 and the Cowboys are 6 games under 500. God is really putting his thumb on the scales for the Mormons as they have a 2-game lead in the church league. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech have risen to the top of the color conference, but 2 greens, a red, and a crimson are 1 game behind. The Hurricanes' loss this week makes the Storm Conference a little more competitive between the Cyclones and the Hurricanes. All right, well, let's start eliminating teams for this week. We'll start out in the Big 12, where we eliminate Iowa State, Baylor, the Utes, and Kansas. And in the Big 10, we eliminate Illinois and Nebraska and the Maryland Terrapins. Let's see how the map looks. We went from 138 teams to 33, so we will eliminate another 21 teams before December. Week 7 and Week 8 thinned out the group of undefeated teams. This week, Miami lost for the first time. Memphis had their first loss. Texas Tech spent a lot of money on this team that has lost its first game. Last week, there was 2 Rebels undefeated, but both Rebels lost their first one this week. Navy is still undefeated, but has several tough games in front of them, so they are feeling the heat. The Southeastern Conference gets an automatic bid, but doesn't really matter who wins the conference when determining the playoff teams, because this league will supply 5 or 6 teams in the playoff. The other conference that will supply multiple teams is the Big 10. Notre Dame will earn a playoff spot to go undefeated from here on out. It looks like the Atlantic Coast Conference will provide 1 or 2 teams, so the conference championships will be very important. Georgia Tech, Southern Methodist University, and the Virginia Cavaliers have the inside track as of today. The Big 12 will not be determined until the end of the championship game because there is still 11 teams with a chance to win this conference. It is clear the American Conference is the best of the group of 5. But if a team like Temple were able to win the conference, then maybe Boise State could make the playoffs. So we pay attention to both conferences still. The Sun Belt, the MAC, and Conference USA just don't have the teams to provide the final playoff spot. Can you find your team in the bowl-eligible bowl? There are 23 bowl-eligible teams now. Let's look at what the playoffs would look like if they were determined today. Ohio State and Indiana get 2 byes for the Big 10 and the Southeastern Conference with F2-bye teams in Texas A&M and Alabama. The remaining 8 teams would be South Florida, Georgia, Oregon, Vanderbilt, Mississippi, Miami, Georgia Tech, and from the Big 12 BYU. What games should we watch this week? The SEC has 3 games that are acting a lot like Eliminator games. Mississippi at Oklahoma, Missouri at Vanderbilt, Texas A&M at LSU. In a huge game in the group of 5, Southern Florida, and Memphis State. And from the Big 12, Houston at Arizona State. And the BYU Cougars travel to Iowa State. Well, the season is well underway, and it's time to get your team color coats and hats out of the closet and ready for the cold weather games. There are just a handful of games left in the regular season, so enjoy this time of year. College football is on.
The BBL. It's mildly amusing.